Namaste beautiful yogis. I'm preparing to do the question and answer video that we've been discussing. So this is what I'm gonna have. Just wanted to kind of show you a quick inspiring type of easy tea. Tulsi, moringa. I've never tried this particular one, moringa, and I just got it because moringa is a popular plant. Has all the most important vitamins and minerals contained within itself. It's a holy basil, moringa, lemongrass, and claims to have B12 probably added to it. Anyways, I'm just gonna have this with some vanilla stevia drops and with some flax milk. And while my water is heating, I want to show you what I made. It actually is a bit of a fail, but delicious fail nonetheless. I roasted and cut an entire coconut in this thin strips. So basically I grated it again with a thin slicer, and I put a little bit of brown sugar on it, a little bit of salt, and just a few drops of lemon juice. Now the whole house smells like heaven, but it's not even, this is not even doing it justice. Even the darker pieces are okay, but I will redo this whole recipe and I will show it to you. But I will not roast it. I will just put it on the lowest basically temperature, and I will leave it overnight or even for a day or two, so that I can get it dehydrated. But it's purely divine. This thing is probably one of the most delicious things I've tasted, and Sophie loves those too. They're a good choice. And here is the quince boiling. I will strain it and I will make quince candy jelly. I want to make it with molasses, kind of licorice style, with a ton of ginger, cinnamon, and this thing smells so good that even if I never ate it, it's just worth it for the smell, for how it makes the house smell. Alright, so the tea is ready, and we'll get ready with the question and answer video. Namaste beautiful yogis. Before we get started, I will show you how this little pudding looks. It's a chocolate persimmon. It's a chocolate persimmon pudding with some coconut and cacao nibs on top, and quince in the center, with lined bananas on the bottom, whole bananas. Actually, you can't even see them, but and I'm just gonna cut it. I have no idea what the structure is. It's actually soft like pudding. Yeah, it is. Oh, it's surprisingly not soft like pudding. Oh, I'm again impressed with fruits. This needs to be photographed. Only if you're taking it to a party, what I would do is I would melt dark chocolate with coconut milk. I can show you how I make it. Even make it like caramel and cover it on top. So it's extremely rich and chocolatey, and everybody at the party would love it. This way, it's delicious if you are used to healthy food. But look at this. I mean, seriously, it's quince. I will show you the recipe. Actually, I think it's worth showing you this recipe, but it's the short version is quince. It's raw. It's quince, persimmon, banana, and a few sweet basil seeds or chia seeds. So that is it, and then the sweeteners and cacao and cinnamon. I'll show you the recipe, but can you believe this? I can't. All right. Namaste beautiful yogis. Now we can get started with the question and answer video. The reason why I wanted to do this video is because there is always there are always questions that I don't manage to answer. Usually I read most of your comments, and sometimes there's important questions that I try to get to immediately, related to alignment or something related to the class. But sometimes I just see a question on my phone when I'm somewhere out, and by the time I get home it's already buried under a bunch of questions. So I figured maybe I will do it in a video, and if you have asked questions that I have not answered before, just please post it within this video below and I will get to it next time. Now, I posted it in the Facebook group, and there is a few questions that I will answer from there today. Actually, let me do something cool first. We've been talking about persimmons, and I actually managed not to eat this persimmon. It's totally ripe and ready, so that I can show you what a ripe hachia looks like. So this is a ripe hachia persimmon. You can see it gives. It just gives. When you touch it, it's, yeah, you can see this. If I drop it, it will just basically plop, burst. Alright, so that's a ripe hachia. Those are the fuyos, which you can eat it in any stage as long as it's a nice color, meaning it developed all the proper sugars and nutrients. So the darker the better. But I prefer to soften them too. I want them to give. When I touch them, they're sweeter this way and better for us. This is a different type of hachia that has to wait. And the way I pick my hachias is I make sure they have black. They seem to be sweeter that way. People would avoid that and think it's a flaw. I go the opposite way. I get the ones that have black on them. And now, with the hachias out of the way and persimmon talk out of the way, which is the most important thing right now during the persimmon season, we can get to the questions. I'm sure I will not get to all the questions or the ones from YouTube, because they're just spread all over the place. But I will get with the Facebook group, start with the Facebook group questions, and then we'll take it from there. Alright, so there was one question that is I'll start with it. It was in a private message because it's a personal question, and feel free to message me privately if the question is something that you consider embarrassing or too private or something like that. That is perfectly fine. I will read the question. It is not a common question, meaning this is not what most people's problem with yoga would be, or challenge with yoga will be. But the question is, quite simply, how could one defeat their self-hate? Before I started my yoga journey, I really wasn't concerned with my body image, thinking I looked fine, and I still believe I did. But after months of doing your videos, I have noticed that I've lost weight. For some reason, that has made me more self-conscious than ever. I pick my body apart every time I pass a mirror. I chastise myself for having a cheat day, and I hate myself when I don't work out. I wanted to start yoga to make myself better, but emotionally I feel worse. I'd appreciate any help. Now, the question is, are you sure that you were okay with yourself before that, or did you expose things to your mind that you were unaware of before? That is one. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to guess what the situation is, but if you're losing an unhealthy amount of weight, if you're going below your healthy weight, then eat more and do shorter classes. Definitely do not lose too much weight. This is meant to build you, not to break you down. Self-hate. If you are, everybody is going through a different experience in life, and we're going through different experiences at different times. And if sometimes I can tell you from my personal experience that you need in life for certain experiences to be fully embraced. We need to get broken down in order for the old to die within us and for us to be able to experience pure depth. If yoga is making you feel less worthy, and you have to sit down with yourself and examine. You have to sit down, back off, sit down and examine the reasons. I doubt that there was nothing within and this just happened out of the blue. I would have to guess that it is just exposing something that was there all along. Now, the rate at which you want to expose yourself to a deepening experience, that is something that everybody has to monitor. Some of us can go quicker, some of us have to slow down, some of us cannot manage intensity or huge intensity. So I would say practice empty-minded and remove the mirrors from your house and learn. This is not going to be something that I will tell you this and boom, we're all going to start practicing it, but learn not to associate yourself with your physical image. The pure truth is we are going to slowly break down and deteriorate, and we're all going to die. Sorry to start on this note, but once you become comfortable with the truth, you will feel liberated by this. Truths that you are aware of but you're fearful of, they bother you much more and they seem so sad and so fearful and so scary, but that is the absolute truth. This is not discovering hot water here. This is the absolute truth. We are never going to achieve any type of happiness as long as we associate ourselves with the physical. The physical will never be perfect, and even if it was perfect, we wouldn't be appreciative of it unless we're really stupid or we're a genius. Then we're okay with it. But self-analyzing will never lead to anything but unhappiness. And worrying about the self is something that we have to learn slowly to move away from. My advice is stop reading self-help books, stop reading new age books, stop reading anything that puts emphasis on self-love, self-observation, self-learning about the self, understanding yourself better. This is a bit of a trap. You're supposed to learn mindfulness and emptiness in the moment, to me, for pure spirituality and for pure depth. We're here to deepen this experience as humans, not to become self-obsessed and in the process lose ourselves, lose our center and lose our connection to source or connection to pure truth. I don't know, I'm getting sidetracked. My advice would be slow down with the yoga, remove the mirrors and reflect. There is something in this experience that will lead you to where you're supposed to go. It will reveal something that you were not aware of, but nevertheless it was bothering you. That is my guess. If anybody has a better answer, post it in the comments below, and she or he will be hopefully reading through the comments, and if you can offer some help or a different perspective. Mine is pretty deep and serious, so you can offer something a little sweeter. Next question. Do you have flow series for that time of the month? I find like I do a lot of downward dog stretching and balancing poses like Star and Warrior Tree, but I'm not sure if those are considered inversion poses, which some caution against. My opinion. I didn't know the answer to this for years actually, because every teacher and every practitioner and every book will say something different, and I was not sure, but we're all meant to create our own experience and our own define our take on this. My advice is the first day of your cycle, avoid all inversions, and if you do a down dog, don't stay long in it, just move through a down dog. I have a few flows, my back pain flow, and we actually have it in the Facebook group. Scroll down through the comments, there was this question posted already, and the videos were posted within the group. It's yoga for cramps. If you Google it in my channel, if you search it yoga for cramps, it will come up, and yoga for lower back would also work for that. I have another class, I think it's a 300 booty class. I designed it for sometimes oftentimes actually on your period you will feel very strong and it's just no difference, and maybe just a few cramps but the energy is high, so then you can do something really strong. And I like standing poses, plies, warriors and so forth. Those seem to just allow the energy to move freely, and usually sometimes the problem with cramps is stagnation, Chinese medicine concept. So you want free flow of energy. If your energy is low, you can just rest on that day and allow your body to do its work. It's good to listen to your body always. It's best to listen to your body. So if you don't feel like doing anything physical, just skip it. Skip the physical stuff. Maybe do the lower back class. Do I practice Nauli? Not so much. And actually, this is a funny thing. Scratch this. To practice, but sometimes I do forget. I'm guilty of forgetting this vacuums, stomach vacuums. I do like that, and it's pretty effective. Not so much Nauli. Maybe we can get into it in the coming months as one of the challenges. My brother is an expert in it. I would love to know how long you've been practicing yoga and how you got started with it. I would also like to know if you practice Nauli. Again, Nauli. Okay. Alright, maybe it will be one of the coming challenges, Nauli, and then I might have to create a closed Facebook group where we're sharing our challenges, because there is some people that have obsession with Nauli. I mean, some men that have an unhealthy obsession with Nauli. So we can create a closed group and share it there. How long, I just did an interview for this French yoga brand, and I'm answering a lot of this just common questions about how I got started and all of this. This is all gonna be in the interview, so I'll leave it for I'll leave this question and answer because the interview will be posted shortly. Yeah, that question is answered there. Do I take any supplements? And what's my skincare routine? So I prepared something to show you, something very cool. I have a blog about my skincare. Actually, a few blogs where I share just products that I use, and my skincare is pretty simple, so there is very little I can share with you. I get into different things such as oil cleansing, those facial brushes and all of those, but I don't do anything for way too long to can even tell if it's working. Now I got into using a couple of serums. So I put a serum on, then I wait a little bit, I put another one on, then I wait a little bit and a third one on, or something like this. I got the idea from Korean skincare, which is layering, and they layer like 12 products on. Since I started this, I can tell that there is a huge difference. And one of the things I'm doing, and I've been pretty good about doing it for a week or two now, every day, twice a day, morning and night, I just wash with water in the morning and with water and gel cleanser at night. And I stopped doing too much exfoliation, but I started doing, I'll show you what, which kind of has an exfoliating effect, and I do see, I think, a brightening, and I don't know, overall it seems to be making my skin better. So what I did is I ordered from, I think it was from eBay or Amazon. You have to get it from a lab type of place on eBay. It's called the Chemistry Connection L-ascorbic acid. It has to be completely, my camera won't zoom probably. It has to be completely in powder form, otherwise it will not dissolve. If you get it in crystals, maybe you can grind it in a coffee grinder, but otherwise it won't dissolve and it will be useless. And then I use a little container that I've already finished of a serum. This is actually a vitamin C serum container, and again, it will probably not zoom, but it's this is a good product too. Lumin Vitamin C Dry Skin Comfort Radiance Cocktail. Anyways, so I put in this water, L-ascorbic acid, and this time I put a little bit of neem, a tiny bit of neem oil, which has healing properties for the skin, and I shake it before I use it, and I only make this much at the most. I make enough so I can shake it and use it in the next 2 days, because vitamin C will lose its potency. So if you buy it, it will not be as effective. So the best thing is to either buy it and use it within a month and hold it in your fridge, or better yet, make it. And it's a watery consistency, so I just spray it on my hand or spray it on my face and quickly pat it in. And I did notice that it actually broke me out a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it's from the vitamin C. Not sure because it's exfoliating maybe, but I will stick with it and we'll see. It's nothing bad. It broke me out for a day or two, even right now a little bit. But I'm pretty sure because it even I got a breakout on my neck, which I would not get a breakout there, and I've been putting it down my neck. So I'm not sure why, but other than this, it has a brightening and soft. It seems to be working on my skin pretty well. It's making it more supple, brighter. Overall, my skin seems to look a little better from it and from the other Lumin. My favorite is Lumin H Time Freeze. Lumin Time Freeze Serum. It is again a very, very thin consistency. So basically I can finish one of these bottles in a month, which this has never happened before for me to finish a product and repurchase it. It's very absorbent. No matter how much you put on your face, it just soaks right in, and I don't think I have dry skin, so my skin doesn't necessarily absorb things readily. So this thing is very lightweight and it just soaks in, so that's great. That's the two things that I think are worth mentioning. The rest is on my blog, and it's just basic stuff. Yoga is the one thing. Yoga and diet are the two things that had the most effect on my skin and clearing my skin and clearing acne and all of those things. Is really breaking a sweat. Is probably either the first or the second most important thing, because sweating tends to detox the skin, And the second or the first most important would be diet and removing things that are potentially harming your skin. Like for example, I discovered that back long time ago, I don't eat eggs now, but back when I stopped eating eggs when I became vegetarian, but I would still have them here and there. For example, twice a year or every 2 years I would eat eggs for a week, something like that. And I realized that they are giving me cystic acne, just this really deep under the skin, just big kind of heart. I wouldn't even call them pimples, like cysts. Disgusting stuff actually, and in uncommon places, like it would be in like just random places on my face and neck. And since the only new thing was eggs, when that happened, and it happened through my teenage years too, when I was probably still eating eggs, when I realized, wait a minute, this is probably from eggs, removed the eggs, and they took a while, but they cleared. So removing dairy was, that's the post. Removing dairy was major, and removing eggs was the other major thing. With meat, I can't comment on that. It's been way too long, and I can't even make a connection. And another thing, this is extremely important actually for skin, is once I started eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, I naturally become much more tan. I don't stay in the sun, but I noticed that I always have tan, which I never did as a kid. Never ever did I have tan. So for me, I'm a completely different shade right now, skin color right now than I used to be, and this is purely diet. And probably where I live has an effect on this, but I don't stay in the sun. So it is diet. The diet really gives your skin color. What religion are you? Rachel, do you think religion and yoga go hand in hand? I am not religious. My mother is Christian. My dad is agnostic maybe, or I don't know, he doesn't commit to anything. He's just accepting of most things, but he's not, I wouldn't say he's religious. My mom is pretty religious nowadays, and I was not brought into any religion. My parents actually never mentioned anything growing up. I don't remember anybody ever mentioning God. So in a way it was a blessing, because I as a child was allowed to discover my own truth. I think Rudolf Steiner schools talk about that, allowing the child in the first 6 years of their life to just commune with nature. Basically, they're just out and playing in the sun and playing with plants and animals, and without you telling the kid anything, the kid is allowed to actually create its own personal connection. And you know how kids are extremely deep and extremely connected? They're actually able to connect much deeper with real truths than whatever we tell them. I remember my brother, when he was 2 or 3 years old, he would make comments about God that my jaw would just drop. His connection with God was so profound, and it was something that it was just coming from within, that it's just it was gorgeous. So yeah, I'm not religious. Yoga and religion, no. Yoga is, to me, yoga is a tool for creating quiet space and allowing whatever you believe in to be expressed in a more balanced and centered way. You can be Christian, it just really doesn't matter. You can be Buddhist, and also yoga on a pure physical and practical level is pure maintenance. I think a lot of people can save themselves from future surgeries, spinal back pain, spinal surgeries, knee surgeries, hip replacement, just by practicing yoga and allowing the joints to be lubricated and allowing for the back to be aligned and so forth. So it is a pure necessity, and yoga just holds space for me. It just holds space for us, space where healing can occur, quiet space. Ines, mudras, it has to be its own video. It's long and it's super interesting, so I'll make a separate. I will make a video on mudras because it's really interesting, and they do have a cool effect on the entire system. Jerry, hip openers. I've talked a lot about hip openers, but that is mostly in the intermediate and advanced classes. And let me see. I think it was cutting my head off, maybe not. I've talked a lot about intermediate and advanced, a lot about hip openers, but mostly in the intermediate and advanced classes, and usually I mention about the effect hip openers can have on the system. Hip openers are extremely important because they rebalance your posture and your spine. Some people can begin to feel like one of their legs is longer or shorter, and that will throw the entire spine off. And hip openers tend to rebalance the structure there. We tend to store a lot of trauma in our connective tissue, and hips are one of the big places of storing trauma. And if you notice, when people begin to get older and older, the hips become less and less flexible, especially in Western societies. We don't sit cross-legged on the floor, which if you are arranging and designing your house, do yourself a favor and just grab a bunch of beautiful sitting pillows and a really low table and do that. It will, if you just learn to sit on the floor cross-legged, it will allow you to actually maintain the openness of your hips just in your everyday life without practicing. We also store a lot of trauma, even deeper issues and further back in time, in our psoas, which is the muscle that runs in the front, but it's very deep and very hard to access in the front of the hip, from the leg all the way up towards the ribs. So I do include stretches for the psoas as well, and that is actually even deeper healing and deeper access from the physical perspective. So you see how even though we're working on the physical, everything is interconnected and interrelated. And if we are spiritual beings having a human experience, but at the same time we're having a human experience so that the spiritual aspect of us can evolve. So if we were just meant to have a spiritual experience, we wouldn't be born here and we wouldn't be having this experience at all. There is a lesson within this experience, and things go both ways. We can heal the spiritual on a physical level with physical tools. That's why I like foods, yoga, and conscious movement, because it can heal the spirit, and it can affect us on every level without even setting the intention to heal. Just quieting the mind alone is good enough, and just deepening the breath is good enough. And my battery is dying. Okay, so we're back, and alright, so we are back, and I think I'm taking very long to respond to questions, so I'm gonna try to move quickly. Hips, back to hips. Yeah, open the hips even though it doesn't bother you. Keep working on your hip openers. Don't force anything. You don't have to put your legs behind your head. This is not necessarily healthy. What is healthy is to develop a balanced physique. That's why I'm not a common yogi in the sense that I work on strength as much as I work on flexibility. Most yogis work on just flexibility and bodybuilders work just on strength. And both of those can develop a very imbalances in the body. And you do need both in balance. And you don't need to do any contortion. It's not necessarily healthy for you. I would actually caution you against getting too ambitious with yoga because it can lead to injuries. There is things that I know are not good for my body and I will not perform them or practice them at all, and I will give you an example. Unfortunately, it's something really cool, but I will not do it. And it's a lot of Ashtanga flying or transitions. They're not very good for your shoulders and they are impractical. My view on health and yoga is get things done in a short amount of time. You don't need to practice for 2 hours a day. Some days if you need to practice for 2 hours, do that if it feels great. But don't feel like you're obligated to practice an hour every single day and it's becoming this thing that you have to do in order to be fit and in order to be healthy and to have a balanced physique. So I'm giving you the tools to do things easily in a short amount of time, and everything else is just fun. This is fun as well, what we're doing, but if you want to add to it, it's just fun. It's not this thing that, you have to do daily just because it's the thing you have to do to just be in shape. My biggest question, April, how to beat the cold weather blues. Some people love the changing seasons, but I had such great momentum with my weight loss. I was especially enjoying my long walks in the sun with my youngest toddler, and now I feel I have to change my whole routine. It is cold and I can't seem to motivate. I just want to snuggle with my little one, which wouldn't be bad if I still didn't have 15 pounds to lose. I'm so close and now just burnt out mentally. So long story long, what advice do you have for this girl who's gluten free and stuck inside the house? Okay, gluten. On gluten, it depends how you're approaching the gluten thing. I don't believe that the statistics show that under 1% of the population is allergic to gluten. I don't eat gluten I don't eat gluten actually, but at the same time, I don't agree that just removing gluten from your diet and replacing it with gluten-free breads and stuff would help with anything. I see all these cakes made out with tapioca flour, rice flour, almond flour, which is so high in fat, and all these starches and all this stuff that is just not good for you, and especially in such complex combination. And baking in general is probably something that you want to do the least as food preparation. So don't commit yourself to gluten-free as much as to high in unprocessed fresh fruit and veggie diet. Now with I do feel your pain with the gloomy weather. It's kind of tough. Maybe get a light, full spectrum light in the morning to kind of absorb some light. They're very popular in Germany, those lights. In the morning you get it so it resets your hormones. If you see bright light, full spectrum, first thing in the morning, it will make you tired at the right time at night, and it will help you with producing melatonin at night, and it will make you kind of get a little more peppy during the day. Do longer yoga. If you can't walk, do longer yoga. Bundle up and try to walk. If you can't do that, get a trampoline and jump to music. Put your favorite songs on and just jump around. Jump. And the trampoline would help you with that. And don't despair. Just try to maintain what you've already achieved. Take it easy on yourself. Be easy on yourself. After all, you've gone through a major experience, which is birth. So if you're not perfect immediately, that's okay. Just be happy and glad for where you're at and for the huge blessing you have in your life. And the rest will kind of fall in place. Even if it doesn't snap in place immediately, it will fall in place. Just jump a little bit, do longer classes, stay with your yoga, do it in the morning. And you will get there. And try to focus on unprocessed foods. If you guys, some of you feel like they're addicted to bread, instead of bread, boil grains, boil wheat, but buy commute, buy spell, buy the heirloom varieties of wheat. Or if you're gluten intolerant, then buy millet, sweet rice. I avoid starches personally, but if I have to eat cooked grains, I really love millet. It's an alkaline grain, and it's a good substitute for healthy carbs during the winter, just because you can warm it up and make it into a nice... I prefer millet over oats. It's pretty good. Oats, I'm not 100% sure about, but they're okay. Oats are good. Just focus on unprocessed foods. Pumpkins, roasted, baked, boiled pumpkins, all those things, they will help you lose weight. Stay full on unprocessed foods and you will get there. So is Sophie vegan? No. She doesn't eat meat, but she's not vegan. Why? Because sometimes she'll get some kibble here and there if I'm traveling or something. I would probably transition her to vegan. Now I know this is like a huge subject. Oh my god, how you dare? Dogs are carnivores, humans are carnivores, and all of that. Now, I have a problem with raising a dog and knowing that the dog that I raised throughout its entire lifespan, it will contribute to the death of other beings that I actually also consider as profound as the dog and as other things. So I prefer to minimize how much meat I give her. The longest lived dog in the Guinness Book of Records was vegan, so I'm pretty confident that I can feed her a vegan diet and she will be okay. She's already eating a vegan diet pretty much. I was giving her raw chicken leg while she was a puppy, but I stopped that. Now there are supplements that can be given to vegan dogs like taurine, L-carnitine, B12. She eats rice, vegetables, legumes, and flaxseed, such things. And now I will, now that she's transitioning into a more meat-free diet, what I will do is, she was, when I first got her as a baby, she was allergic to absolutely everything. She was one rashy little baby, and I just read that bulldogs are that way, so she's just allergic to everything. No, turns out that I got her off, when I got her off of the dog food, she cleared up. Her allergies cleared up. Bulldogs tend to get a lot of eye boogers and all of that. That kind of got very reduced. I feed her pretty clean, organic rice, organic vegetables, and organic chicken. Fancy. She's a fancy little one. That the chicken was raw when I was giving it to her, and I noticed that one time when she was little, I got her natural chicken. Not she had diarrhea, stomach pain, and so forth from the just natural chicken. So she can't even tolerate any pesticides. And dogs are very very much more responsive to herbal remedies and to medicines because their intestinal tract is so short and they absorb everything quickly. So she responds to herbal remedies much faster than humans do, and I can, for example, for dogs, the best thing is pumpkin, either canned pumpkin or raw pumpkin. And since I had her from a little baby, I taught her to love everything. So there is nothing she does not like from the fruit and vegetables. She thinks broccoli stems are the best treat ever. Her favorite thing is sweet potatoes or potatoes, which I don't give her that often. I don't know why, I just don't cook them often, but she just loves this. And she basically would eat anything. She would eat a piece of ginger if I gave her a piece of turmeric. She would eat that. So she loves everything, and I know that dogs can be very healthy on a vegan diet. Cats, not at all. Cats have to eat meat, so I don't know about cats. It's a whole nother story. But with Sophie, I've done research, and I've done also with her training. I try to keep her calm, and she does have a health condition from birth, hip dysplasia. So who knows how long her life will be. There was quite a few scares with her as a baby, and she was raised she was probably a baby to parents that ate all these disgusting dog foods that were full of GMO soy and GMO corn and stuff, and who knows what kind of inbreeding and so forth. So she has severe hip dysplasia. So I'm doing the cleanest diet I can do. I've actually tried to give her bone broth when she was a little baby. Yes, I, long time vegan, had to boil bones, and she could not tolerate that. She could not tolerate pork, lamb. She would throw up or get diarrhea from all of those, even in small amounts. So she kind of set for herself kind of a simple diet of all the grains. She could only tolerate rice, and now she's starting to tolerate more and more things, and she's starting, basically her gut is starting to heal, just for the fact that she's eating so clean. And I'm giving her homeopathic stuff for her hips and so forth. So I'm doing my best to keep her on a clean diet. I did have a person in my neighborhood yell at me for giving her grains, and she said her dogs are only eating raw meat, and that's what they're supposed to do, and her dog actually passed away with cancer. So who's to say what is the best? Dogs have been around humans for 10,000 years probably, don't quote me on that, and they have adapted to eat a human diet. They've been around us for long enough to where they're basically eating the food that we're eating. They've been eating this for quite a long time. I know this goes into a whole other discussion of what is natural, what is not natural to dogs, to humans, and so forth. I wanted to answer this question, Alexa. During your videos, you often mention an intention for the class that can carry through the day. I totally embody this mindset during my practice, but once it's over, I often completely lose it. How often I take the intentions and peace I find during yoga with me after that 1 hour or so is tough. I often struggle with binge eating, even on healthy food, and I try to remind myself of the peacefulness I cultivated during my practice, but I somehow can't get back to the mindset. How can I stretch those feelings throughout the day, especially when I need it most? I think this could also especially apply to the way we treat other people. Recently, I have a constant battle with feeling irritated and agitated with those around me who are completely undeserving. I moved from the US to Singapore, and the cultural difference has started to wear on me. I wanted to be able to use my yoga practice as a method, among others, to better calm myself and re-evaluate why I have negative emotions unnecessarily. Um, to be completely and entirely honest with you, I consider the the most valuable thing from yoga is not even intention setting, which again requires thinking, but it's actually mindlessness. I was reading it today in an article about cultivating enlightenment or bettering our spiritual growth. The best thing you can take out of yoga is really to not think at all, and that will carry through your day. That is the absolute pure value of yoga: the deepening of the breath and the mindlessness, the empty mind, the empty space we create. That will calm you much more than anything. As far as the intention goes, you can set it and just set it during the class and forget about it, or write it on a note, or do some little tricks like put it in your shoe and when you're putting your shoes on, or put it on something that you use quite a bit, like on put a note on your keys, or on a mirror, and or on the fridge, wherever you pass often through, just put it there and it will remind you. But it's actually better to just develop empty space. I notice that what's yoga given me is empty mind. I always joke that I'm a mindless creature and I don't think at all, which is either I'm very smart or I'm extremely stupid. And that is a total joke, but the truth is that I do not think through my day. I do have abstract thoughts about philosophy and certain things, but I don't sit and think about myself. And that is the biggest value I've ever received from yoga, is to just learn to be empty through my day, completely empty. If I'm doing something, I'm adopting a Zen mindset to where I'm just doing it. I'm chopping. Like, for example, today I was chopping the coconuts, grating the coconuts, which was quite a bit of work, and it's a meditation on its own. I'm just sitting and doing that. So occupy yourself with things that are allowing you to be empty-minded. Also, if you're angry, look at your liver, look at your diet. Anger is an emotion that is ruled, liver rules anger. So remove things that can aggravate your liver, which is spicy foods, fats, extracted oils, chemicals, pesticides, medicines, pharmaceuticals, anything that has to be alcohol, that has to be processed through the liver. Take some herbs for liver detox, and that alone would make things better. I used to be a very, very angry kid, and I would probably beat up anybody that would piss me off. And I've noticed that as I started practicing yoga, I became pretty calm. I am one of the opinion that we are warriors and we are here not to be peaceful, but to bring into the world what we're here to bring, our biggest truth. And however that is, some people are supposed to be peaceful, some people are not supposed to be peaceful. It doesn't matter as long as you're following your truth. But I've noticed that in general, people don't piss me off. I've had situations in which people would flip me off on the road and they would be in the wrong. They would cut me off. They're running a red light, cutting me off, almost getting into an accident and flipping me off. And I would be like, wow, I just feel bad for you. Or like, I just feel sorry for you having a bad day, going through something so bad that you would actually do that. Anyways, so yoga, keep practicing it. It's the only thing I can tell you. Keep practicing. It's not, there is no shortcuts in anything of value in life. There is no pills, no shortcuts, no just solutions like this. Everything of value is actually something that you have to cultivate, and that is the value of yoga. All right, I'm really this is a day which probably I should have done this question and answers on a different day when I can just quickly move through the questions, because today I'm just talking very slowly. One more question, let me see. That's a cool question. Do you ever drink alcohol, go to parties, get crazy? I'm getting older now. I'm 35, and do I drink alcohol? Yes, I do drink alcohol. I've never really been an alcohol drinker, and I've never really cared for distilled alcohol. I would have wine, or for a while I used to love microbrewed beer. But I find that when with the diet I eat, I just don't have that much need for even for wine. It's just never, if there is an occasion, I would totally enjoy a glass of wine. And I'm the type of person that would enjoy an afternoon a glass of wine for the experience. But it's not something that like I need. I'm quite. Do I ever get crazy? I'm a crazy person. I know it doesn't. You can't tell by my calm exterior, but I'm an Aries and I'm a crazy person, so I don't necessarily need alcohol to be as wild as I want to be. If I want to be wild and just express whatever I want to express in public, I would do it. How should I say? I don't need alcohol to get crazy. Yes, I'm a crazy person, and I don't mind it. Actually, it's probably a compliment for me. Anyways, on that a little uplifting, we're ending it on an uplifting note, and I started it with such a doom and gloom, on such a heavy note. But that is for today. I think I got a lot of the questions, and I will, if I didn't answer your question, please repost it under this video in the comments below. And also for anybody that has asked me a question here on YouTube and I have not answered, I really want to get to, especially if it was an important question, if it was something that for some reason I didn't answer, just don't hesitate to ask again, and I will get to it in the next video. And I'll try to keep it a little shorter, because this is probably gonna last. This is Sophie turning my lights off. She had enough of this. So I'm wrapping it up for today, and let me know if what your question is for me for next time. Thanks for joining me today, and thanks for bringing all the light and heartfelt loveliness into this group. And I'm really thankful for everybody. The group on Facebook has been just heart expanding experience, and it has been so great, everybody helping each other. It's quite a surprise. Even I did not know what the group will be like, but this is turning into something awesome.